I'm making a delicious pot roast in my Instant Pot as well as a no-bake pumpkin icebox pie. I'm also going to share with you a devotional that I have been working on, you guys. I'm Rebekah with Learning Together by Grace. Y'all, let's go. So we're getting started with making this pot roast. I am going to be cutting up some onion, carrots, celery, as well as garlic. I'm keeping this super simple, you guys, because I want to get in and out of my kitchen as quick as possible. Fall is one of my favorite times of the year. I know I have said this numerous times in my other videos, but it is, and I love being able to make meals like this. And to be honest with you, I'll make a meal like this during the spring and summer months too, when it's warm outside. But it's just a quick, healthy meal that I can whip up and allow my Instant Pot on the slow cook function or my regular crock pot to do the work for me. So as I am chopping up these vegetables and getting this prepared to go into my Instant Pot, I'm going to share with you today what my devotional is about. The devotional title is called The Abundant Life. And so the Bible verse that I was thinking of as I was writing this devotional is Philippians chapter 4, verse 9. It says, "But my God shall supply all your needs according to his riches in glory by Christ Jesus." And so I just want to talk a little bit about the abundant life. And I'm going to start with how I view the abundant life in my own eyes first, but then you'll see how God's perspective is coming to the forefront as this devotional carries on. So before I get started on that, I want to show you guys what I am using for my seasonings. I am using curry powder. My husband is a Jamaican, and so because he is Jamaican, curry is one of the main seasonings in their cuisine, and I like to bring that flavor to the different American dishes because I am African American, the different African American dishes that I grew up eating. It's fun to have just a different flavor with that. So I am using garlic powder, salt, and pepper as well. So moving on with the abundant life. When I think about the abundant life, my mind automatically goes to a place of great wealth. Being in a big, warm house with lots of food, family, and friends. And things I also think about being able to do with an abundant life is getting what I want at a moment's notice. My mind goes to traveling around the world and not having to care about anything. This is such a beautiful vision, but for most people, this is just not our reality. So then I have to ask myself the question, what is an abundant life? And so before I continue on, as you can see, I have a frozen piece of roast, and I actually got this from a rancher. So I go to our farmer's market, which is about 30 minutes from me, and I get fresh meat from a rancher, and it is all pasture raised and everything. And so I'm cooking this for about 5 hours, and you guys, this is what it looked like. This pot roast was so delicious. Oh my gosh, I don't even know what more to say, but yum, yum, yum. So moving on to that dessert, these are the ingredients that I am using for that. Now, I will have the recipe to this pumpkin icebox pie in the description below. It'll be on my blog so that you guys can follow along with that recipe. But moving back to my devotional. Now, I want to go on and share with you my story, my husband and myself, so that you can kind of get an understanding of where the abundant life is coming from for me and my husband. So we just recently purchased our second home, which is the house that you see me cooking in the current video. We closed on this house last year, October the 2nd, and we finally moved in November 31st. And so when we went into the buying process, we went into it a little naive. We had our previous life experiences at the forefront of our minds, and we weren't really considering our current experience. So we found ourselves overwhelmed with the cost of homes compared to 10 years prior when we purchased our first home. We realized in that moment we were starting over from scratch. How many of you have found yourself in this season starting over from scratch? It is a very hard reality, especially with me and my husband being in our early 40s. It's a hard reality, and it's a hard pill to swallow at times. So to add to the story, my husband, when we moved to Texas from California, he wasn't working, and he didn't work for 18 months. And during that time, I actually had a dance company. So while I was homemaking, as I always do, I started a small online dance company to try to bring in some supplemental income. I actually started this before I left California, and I had it for 3 years. But that was not very successful, and it was very disheartening that it wasn't successful. So going back to my devotional, so as my husband went back to work, I decided to shut down that business. Within weeks of him working, my car broke down to the point of us having to purchase a new one. Shortly after that, we decided it was time to move out of our rental home we had been in for 2 years. This is where the quest for purchasing our current home began. After finding a home we liked, we applied for a VA loan, and within 2 weeks were denied because my husband had only been at his current job for 4 months, and we had the additional debt of my car. The lender working for us did not give her due diligence to our account, and we were facing the possibility of owing money to the sellers. However, God had a man who went the extra mile to get us approved for our VA loan within 3 weeks of us working with him. This was a different lender from a different company. Being that I had my dance company and my husband helped me in many aspects of that company, he was considered an employee of our family business. The very business I felt I wasted my time on, and it was not profitable. This was the very thing that got us into our second home. I want you all to understand the tone here. Abundance is not necessarily the things you receive. It is, however, God working things out for you because of your obedience. When things are out of your control and God shows you that He will supply all of your needs because you are living in Him, that is something to hold dear to your heart. Our family is now nestled into this home, and we're grateful for what God did for us. We enjoy being homeowners and being able to do as we see fit for our lives within our own home. Had I not been obedient to God and started my dance company, we wouldn't be in this house today. So that is the story of us getting into this house, a very brief story. But I want to go back to that question that I asked you guys. How does it feel when you're starting over from scratch, knowing that you are a child of God and feeling like, well, God, this is not the idea that I had in my mind with maybe being 40 something, being 30 something, being 20 something, 50, 60, 70 something, whatever your age may be where you feel like you're starting over. God, I don't feel like this is the abundant life that you have for me. It's probably what you're thinking. Well, one thing that God has helped me to change my perspective on is the fact that everyone goes through things. Everyone has to start over at some point. But how are we handling those things when we have to start over? Are we handling it with grace? Are we murmuring and complaining as the Israelites did when they left Egypt? Or are we saying, you know what, God, I surrender. I trust you because my abundant life is within you. My abundant life isn't in things because things are temporal. They come and go. My husband and I have made lots of money and we have made little money. We've had lots of things and we've had a little bit of things. We have had ups and we have had downs. But in the midst of all of that, God still cares, and He has given us abundant life because we have peace and we have joy and we have a family and we have our health and strength. And that is something that I am grateful for and something that I want you guys to consider when it comes to the abundant life. All right, you guys, so now I am going in and layering up this pie. As you can see, I'm using, yes, animal cookies because y'all, why not? When you have children, you just kind of get creative with things. You can use animal cookies, you can use graham crackers, I even used lemon snaps with one of my Icebox pies that I made not too long ago. But I'm doing a second layer. Now, something that I do want to make mention here is that I did not allow my cream cheese to come to room temperature the way that I should have. And so there were definitely some cream cheese lumps in this filling. And so make sure you guys take your time and allow that cream cheese to come to room temperature. Or even better yet, if you are just short on time, take the cream cheese out of the aluminum wrapper and then place it in your microwave to kind of soften a little bit. You probably only need about 15 seconds. But of course, I didn't do that. All right, so I'm doing my last layer, and now I'm just going in with some of those animal crackers, and I'm using my masher to mash these up. You can also use a bag and a rolling pin or either a food processor. But I was like, hey, here's my masher. Let me just grab it and go. And I'm just using those cookies and decorating the top of this pie. So this pie turned out really good. It was a nice creamy texture. Of course, the pumpkin puree texture came through, but it was still really good. I hope you guys enjoyed this video and would consider making this recipe. It will be below in the description. And I do plan on making more videos like this where I'm either giving you an encouraging word, a devotional, or just a little perspective from my life. Don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and share so people know what we're doing here. Hit that notification bell so that you can be notified when I post again. You guys, God bless you and take care. Bye.